people had been crossing the railway for several minutes, but the fresh snow beneath them was still untouched. Men, women, children. Some carried bags over their shoulders. One woman held a bundle tightly against her chest. They moved through the fog in a steady line, without speaking or looking toward Lin. He couldn't hear a single footstep. Lin checked his watch. A train would pass through in less than 10 minutes. "Get off the tracks." No one turned. He shouted again. The nearest figure looked no more than 30 yards away, so Lin left the meeting point and ran toward him. Half a minute later, the man was still 30 yards away. The crowd kept crossing. The distance never changed. Lin was 23 that winter, working his first railway job along a remote stretch of track beside the Yellow River. Each night, he checked the rails for anything that might endanger a train, then met the patrol worker coming from the opposite direction to exchange inspection tags. That night, Lin reached the meeting point early. Fresh snow covered the ground, and fog had begun rising from the river while he waited for an older worker named Wu. There was no crossing nearby. Beyond the rails were trees, an abandoned branch line, and steep ground leading toward the water. So where were all these people coming from? More figures appeared through the fog. Some carried cloth bags. Others held bundles as if they had packed everything they owned and left home in the middle of the night. Lin called out again. The line never slowed. He could hear his own voice across the railway, but not one person looked at him. Lin ran harder. His boots slipped in the snow and the tools inside his coat knocked together. The nearest man remained just ahead, walking at the same slow pace. Lin should have reached him. Instead, the distance stayed the same. For a few moments, Lin forgot about the train. He only wanted to catch up and make the procession stop. Then he looked down. The only footprints in the snow were his own. Dozens of people had crossed directly in front of him, yet the white ground behind them remained smooth. Lin slowed to a walk. Someone shouted his name from behind. "Lin, stop!" He turned and saw Wu waving both arms through the fog. When Lin looked back, the railway was empty. No families, no children. No figures moving between the trees. Wu reached him, grabbed his coat, and pulled him backward. "What are you doing out here?" Lin tried to point toward the crowd. Then he noticed the rails beneath his boots. They were rusted and half buried in snow. Without realizing it, he had left the active railway and followed the figures onto the abandoned branch line. A short distance ahead, the old track ended where part of the cliff had collapsed. Lin was only a few steps from the edge. Far below, the Yellow River moved through the darkness. Wu led him back before asking what he had seen. Lin described the silent families, the untouched snow, and the distance that never seemed to close. Wu said Lin was not the first patrol worker found walking toward the abandoned track on a foggy winter night. Others had also reported seeing silent figures carrying bags toward the river. No footprints were ever found. Lin developed a fever after returning home and remained in bed for nearly 2 weeks. When he recovered, he asked to be transferred. Years later, a former coworker asked whether he thought the crowd had been trying to lead him over the cliff. Lin said no. "They never called me," he replied. "They never even looked at me. I was the one who followed." He could never explain why, for those few minutes, leaving the railway and walking into the fog had felt completely normal. Subscribe to Mistcurrent stories for more strange mysteries, unexplained encounters, and dark legends with no clear answer.